Pi is stranded at sea after the ship he is on sinks in a storm. But he finds himself adrift and at odds with a Bengal tiger. Together, they form a bond to survive in Life of Pi.
Hi, I'm Aaron.
I'm Rachel.
I'm Kevin.
And we're here to talk about the new film from director Ang Lee, Life of Pi. I'd like to welcome Kevin Taft. Kevin is a reviewer at Edge Media Network. Thank you, Kevin, for being here.
Thank you for having me here.
We've all just seen it. So, who wants to take the first bite?
It's a really unusual story. The book is unusual, too. I think that it's translated remarkably well. The story is written in 3 sections, and when it turns into the film, there's a use of flashbacks, which I think is a little bit clunky. But other than that, I feel like the story holds together really well.
Once you get into the disaster at sea and all that, I thought the flashback structure worked, but at the beginning, there was so much back and forth, and it would be with like 30 seconds, and then you cut back to him talking to somebody about the past. Then they go back.
It's based off of a Yann Martel novel that came out in about 2001, 2002. So it is an adaptation. There are things that are going to get missed. The structure does jump around, but the story is very breathtaking and very thrilling. The only thing that really bummed me out was the end.
I did not read the book, but my sister did. And I remember back many years ago, she was so into this book, and then she got to the end, and she was like, psh, very disappointed. So I think that disappointment is in the book and then translates into the film, and it's probably less clear in the film again than it is in the book, the explanation of the sort of story shift.
I had to ask if I went with a friend who read the book twice, actually. And so I had her kind of explain it to me, and she, you know, I can't give anything away, but there was something you're supposed to take away from, you know, which version of events you want to take, animal's life versus human life, you know, which makes you more comfortable.
Yeah.
So knowing that, I kind of was like, all right, I accepted it more, but I feel like I need to go see it again to kind of put all those pieces together.
That's exactly how I feel. I asked a friend of mine the same thing. He read the book.
You know, what I really liked with the acting is that while we focus on Suraj Sharma, Irrfan Khan, who plays him as an adult, it was a testament to his acting for us to follow Suraj through the whole movie. And we get little bits of Irrfan throughout the film, but for him to have this monologue at the end that actually made me cry, I thought that was, amazing. Amazing that would happen when we haven't been following his physical face throughout the whole thing. Mm-hmm. And I thought that really worked.
I think the important person to talk about is clearly Suraj Sharma, who plays 17-year-old Pi. Mm-hmm. He's great. I don't even see him acting. I just see him as Pi, and I think that's probably a testament to him being a 17-year-old kid who probably doesn't have a ton of acting experience and just is in the role.
And he carries the entire movie. Mm-hmm. Somebody we've never seen before. Mm-hmm. You know, I don't think he's even acted before. I think he was a newcomer. So I thought that was pretty impressive.
This never feels like this is an actor's showcase piece. You never feel like he's having his angry moment and then his sad moment and then his defeatist moment. Like, I was so oblivious to him as anything other than this character in the situation trying to deal with the circumstances he was in.
So I think we should talk about Ang Lee, the director of the movie, who's directed movies such as Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and Brokeback Mountain. He's a talented filmmaker, and he has a very kind of glossy feel to his movies, which kind of lends itself to this because it felt a little Disney-esque. But I think ultimately, when we get to the end, I understand why it looked so Disney-esque.
Yeah. And there's a level of unbelievability in the way that it looks, and it's just so slight that you don't really notice it all the time. Right. But sometimes you're like, this is a little unbelievable.
It's too pretty.
With this air of unbelievability, there's also so much specificity that's amazing. Like, you've got these sort of sweeping, gorgeous shots, like panning from, these bioluminescent plankton on the surface of the ocean to, like, going into the depths and seeing, like, a giant squid battling a whale and then coming back out again to the moon and stuff. It's gorgeous, and it's, from a marine biology perspective, it's accurate, which makes it
so important.
It makes it that much more amazing. It does,
It does. It's good to have factual accuracy in film.
It did feel all of it. Even when he was making his own little side boat, I felt like there was no cheats there.
Without a doubt, I think this is one of the best looking movies I've seen this year. Maybe
Yes.
in the past 10 years. And it really has to do with Claudio Moran, the director of photography or cinematographer. He did the cinematography for Tron Legacy, which was probably his first big movie. The thing before that he worked on was Benjamin Button. But he's great, and this movie would not be as beautiful as it was without him. An interesting part of this film that I actually didn't realize until I got to the theater and picked up a pair of glasses, but that it's in 3D. No advertising about that at all, and it actually helped.
You know, and I feel like today the 3D is really just more depth, and I never really feel like anything's 3D, and then halfway through I forget I'm even watching it.
Right.
But I swear when that tiger jumps out the first time, I went over my chair.
And I screamed. Life of Pi is a gorgeous and unusual story. I give it a very strong see it.
After a rough start, I think Life of Pi has the makings of becoming a holiday classic. I say see it.
It's not a perfect movie, but it's quite a spectacle, and I think that everyone should experience it in a theater. So I also say see it.
I want to see it 3.14 more times.
I bet you do. I'm gonna see it 3.14159625 times.
5, 3, 8.
I'm gonna see it 3.14159. That's
2, 6.
It's such a visual roller coaster, but I feel so secure watching this film.